Hey everybody, I wanted to make this and talk a little bit more about audience because we had that great conversation last time, and then in the meantime I've actually spoken to a few of my colleagues, and we had a lot of different things to say. Yes, these are speech bubbles, and I want to talk about, boy, ugly speech bubbles. I want to talk a little bit about what myself and a few other English teachers discussed. To begin with, I think that one of the most important things is that we consider who the audience is, okay? So, who is the audience? Consider this a really essential question. Before writing any piece of writing, we really focused on it in the business. Remember, we were like, oh, this business letter needs to look like this, and be very formal. And then I sign my name down here, and I don't state my age, and I don't state, even, I don't know, very much details about myself. It's not about me. It's about you and what you did to me. And so we adjusted our writing to that audience. And I mention this simply because, as I told you last class, our audience is someone who has read the text, someone who has read the text, but does not know about your ideas. Okay? One important qualifier that one of my colleagues said, like I had mentioned, I'm not going to mention names just because, again, it's not about the teachers, it's about the perspectives. I had one teacher just flat out totally agree with me, definitely kind of share my position. And I've had others that have actually said, I hear, what about context? What about students realizing when to use context and when not to use context? Meaning, like, when do you summarize or talk about what happened in the text? And I thought, that's a great question. That's a great question, okay? It's a great question, happy face. But let me just kind of provide you a little bit here. I would say that context is key within the intro, perhaps a topic sentence, because one thing that we operate under is the kind of state support explain model, and I think that within the state you might include a bit of context, and then you would give the kind of the evidence, and then you would give your explanation or your analysis. Now I realize that's kind of like bubbly, but I'm kind of speaking so you at least know what word it should be. But I think that one thing that for me understand more about what you guys were doing is I feel like if your audience is someone else, someone who hasn't read the text, honestly, there's a larger portion of your writing that's devoted to summary, because I think out of the goodness of your hearts, look at that heart, oh my gosh, out of the goodness of your hearts, you want to help your reader, and you don't want them to be lost. No, you don't want them to be lost. You want them to have a clear understanding about where to go, okay? And where you're going and where you've been. And I think that okay, if that was our previous pie here that had summary, I want something more like this. I think that one reason why, for instance, a frequent comment was, you know, not enough of you. I think that that's because you honestly had a good intention of speaking to an audience that I don't want you to speak to. I want you to speak to someone who's read the text, has like a Spark Notes understanding, a basic understanding of the plot and the main characters, and then expand on that and share your analysis and ideas. That's what A stands for, is analysis. So I guess I'm just this out for you to realize that I think that even though I may kind of, like I stated last time, talk about a paradigm shift here for us. I want you to just know that context is still important, but that for my reasoning, I want your ideas to take center stage. I mean, center stage here, okay? We got a stage, your ideas right up in front, okay? Any context is brief and in the background, all right? And for other teachers, if they're different, if the assignment is different, so if you're in a different classroom or if you have a different assignment, always ask this: who is my audience? And this applies for every class, every writing assignment. If you can come away from this kind of realization, not to just become disciples of Mr. Reed, but to literally become disciples of who is my audience, you'll be setting yourself up for a large amount of success. And ask this question, literally. Ask this question for the future. Ask me it, ask future teachers it, and ask yourself, who is my audience? And you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Have a great day, guys. Thanks.